What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. We have some breaking news. Tom Herman of Texas has been fired. Tom Herman has been fired. Big story here because just a couple of weeks ago, it seemed like his job was safe. Looked like he was coming back. I think they even put out a statement saying that he was going to be back. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm remembering another coach, but it was a pretty big surprise. I don't think anyone really expected it today. I think if you expected it to happen, it probably would have happened at the end of the regular season. But no, Tom Herman is gone. And the reports out there are that Steve Sarkisian will be the next head coach at Texas. So I'll give you my reaction to this news. Also, I'll kind of touch on the playoff games from yesterday. I did not do a reaction video to those games just because I guess it was really just laziness. I just didn't feel like it. So I apologize to all of you for that. But I'll give you my thoughts on the playoff games as well. And by the way, I'm not sick. There was a couple of weeks ago I was sick and just a little cold. I never had COVID or anything like that. So I saw some comments saying, worrying about me still being sick. I am not sick at all. I feel 100% healthy, just so you guys know. But you talk about Tom Herman and what he has done at Texas. He's done an okay job. I don't think he's done horrible, but we all know that the standards at Texas are really, really high. They expect to win championships, and they should win championships. I mean, this is one of the two top programs in the Big 12. I think it's pretty safe to say that. Texas and Oklahoma are the two biggest programs, and between those two programs, you would expect Texas to be able to win a Big 12 championship every now and then, and it's just been a struggle to do that. You look at this year, they were 7-3. You go back to last year, they were 8-5. 2018, they were 10-4. That was their best year. 2017, his first year, they were 7-6. So his record at Texas overall has been 32-18, which again is not bad. But this is Texas. They fired Mac Brown for a reason. They thought that they could do better. Of course, Charlie Strong did not work out. I think Tom Herman has done a better job than Charlie Strong, but it's still not quite to the level you would expect from Texas. I'm kind of, it's very similar to Auburn. I thought Auburn was maybe 1 year away. And with Sam Ehlinger gone, we didn't know for sure what Texas was going to look like last year, but they got some really talented young players. We saw it in the bowl game. This team is going to be really exciting next year, although Oklahoma looks like they're going to be really, really good. I don't know if anyone's going to beat them next year, so maybe this was a good opportunity to do this. And Steve Sarkisian appears to be the next head coach. There are multiple reports out there saying that he will be the next head coach at Texas. I think it's a little bit of a risky hire. His track record as a head coach hasn't been great. He's had some off-the-field issues, which I think he's taken care of all of that. Working under Nick Saban, I'm sure, has helped him, and he'll be a better head coach now. But will he be much better than Tom Herman? It's hard to say. And again, this is a risky hire, in my opinion. Unless you're going to get a guy like Urban Meyer, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good move by Texas. And you see these teams, and I talked about it the other day. Teams like Texas, now Auburn joins in this group. You look at Miami, you look at Michigan. There are several teams that have had pretty solid programs, pretty good teams, but it's not good enough for them, and they make coaching changes, and it just doesn't seem to change anything. I think you just got to be patient. I know he's had 4 years, but again, this is maybe not a bad move, but I think it's a little bit of a risky move. I think you risk not really getting much better. And Tom Herman had kind of built some consistency to where they were at least, a pretty good team every year, not great. I know we always get the message that Texas is back. We always think maybe Texas is back, and they really have not been back to the level that you would say they are back. He was undefeated in bowl games. He's done a pretty good job at Texas. They've won some big games. It seems like really the bigger issue for Texas has been losing games that they should win, losing to games where they're favored. They've actually played really well in the big games. So again, it's very interesting here. It surprised me to see this news. I think it's a risky move to go with Steve Sarkisian, but it may pay off. It's high risk, high reward. It could pay off, and he could develop an offense right there with Lincoln Riley and could recruit at that high level. He's a very good recruiter, and maybe Texas can get right there to where Oklahoma is. And if he's able to get this program to that level, watch out. Texas, Oklahoma is going to be a lot of fun in the years to come. But if he does what the last couple of coaches have done and keeps them pretty good, Texas fans are not going to be happy because I think you could have just stayed that route with Tom Herman. I don't know. This is just coming out. Steve Sarkisian, I'm assuming, will go ahead and coach in the national championship for Alabama. If he does not, that is a big blow because we saw what Ohio State is capable of, and that becomes very interesting. Remember, I believe it was Lane Kiffin. He was going to stick around, and it just didn't work out. And Nick Saban told him he needed to just go on and go to his next job. So this will be interesting. A lot of stories going on here. And just to give you a quick reaction to the playoff games from last night, again, I did not record a video, and I apologize. I really should have, but I just didn't. We start with Alabama-Notre Dame. Very similar to what I expected. I expected Alabama to win. I didn't expect it to be a huge, high-scoring game just because I knew they would kind of be conservative. It's just what Nick Saban does. I felt like Alabama could have scored more in that game if they wanted to. But again, I just didn't expect them to try to score a whole lot. And I just had a thought that maybe Nick Saban does that on purpose. Maybe he doesn't want to score a ton of points because he wants to keep a little pressure on the defense, wants them to continue to have to play at a high level, to continue to almost like a practice. If your offense scores 50, 60 points, the defense really is not going to have much to play for. It's not going to be a big deal if they give up 20 points, So I don't know, but it looked like Alabama was clearly the better team. Notre Dame did some pretty good things in that game. The offensive line for Notre Dame held up. They were able to run the ball decently. And I think really just what I talked about in my preview video, it's the ability to stretch the field, the ability to make big plays in the passing game from the wide receivers. That's what Notre Dame is missing. If they can get that, if they can do what Alabama has done, what LSU did last year, what Ohio State does, what Clemson does, these teams that have great receivers that are able to stretch the field, make big plays in the passing game, that is what you have to have in today's game of college football. You've got to have it. Notre Dame doesn't have it, and that's why they weren't really able to compete in this game. I thought, the offensive line, defensive line, the running backs, everywhere else, Notre Dame is close. They're not that far behind these elite programs, but they've just got to get more of that explosiveness in their passing game, and until they do, they're not going to win a playoff game. So Alabama takes care of business. Again, no surprise for me. If you watch my preview, I expected it to be kind of a low-scoring game. A lot of people didn't agree with me. They said Alabama's going to score 50 or whatever. Just go back and watch my preview video. I think I did a pretty good job predicting how that game was going to go. Also, I predicted that Ohio State would beat Clemson, and I got a lot of comments on that video telling me how wrong I was, how stupid I was, how I was terrible at making predictions, whatever. Did you see the game? Ohio State wins the game, and as a matter of fact, they won it easier than I thought they would. I thought it would be a close game. Ohio State dominated that game. You go back to it, and I thought the difference in the game, it was two things that Ohio State was able to do. First of all, they were able to run the football. They were able to run the ball with some success. At times, were able to really run it well. And because of that, the safeties had to kind of creep up for Clemson. They kind of got aggressive in the passing game. That opened up the deep ball, and we saw Ohio State hit several deep passes in this game. And when Ohio State can do both of those things, it's very tough to stop them, just like Alabama. Alabama, it's the same thing. You load the box to stop the run, they're going to beat you deep. This is going to be a great matchup. I am really looking forward to it. I know Alabama's going to be favored. They look like the better team. Probably got the better defense. Ohio State's defensive line, though, looked really good in this game. And if they can create some pressure on Mac Jones, that'll be interesting. But Alabama's offensive line is a lot better than Clemson's, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But back to my point here, yes, Alabama is going to be favored. If you think Ohio State can't win this game, you're crazy. They can win this game. They're going to have a chance. I know a lot of people thought they didn't have a chance against Clemson. I told you otherwise. I told you they absolutely had a chance. In fact, I picked them to win this game, and they did. Justin Fields had the game of his life. This was just an unbelievable performance by Ohio State. I was shocked, honestly, that the game was not at least close. I thought the game would be a one-score game, at most maybe a two-score game, but Ohio State with a big, big win, a statement win, a program-changing win, getting over the hump. Maybe not a program-changing win because they're already an elite program, but psychologically just a huge win for this program to beat Clemson, to get over that hump, to get back to the national championship. And obviously, if they're able to win it, that is going to be huge. But we'll be talking much more about that game. I'll have a preview for you this week, and I will give you my prediction. I'll tell you right now, I don't feel super confident on either team because, again, I think Ohio State can win this game. I picked them to beat Clemson. We'll see what I pick for this national championship matchup. But, again, the big news here, Tom Herman fired at Texas. Steve Sarkisian heading to Texas. Going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting to see what happens here with this program. Don't expect them to win a Big 12 championship next year because Oklahoma is going to be really, really good. But we'll see if Texas is able to at least, finish second in the Big 12. I think that will be a great year for them next year, considering the fact that Sam Ehlinger is going to be gone. Some other guys are going to be gone. But, again, some great young talent. It'll be fun to watch this Texas team going forward and see what they're able to do. But I would love to get your thoughts on this. Tom Herman gone at Texas. Steve Sarkisian, the new man. What do you think about it? Is it a good decision? And how do you think Texas is going to do moving forward? Give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.